Okay. Welcome to the Blues Fanatics show. I'm Dave Yanni Riley.
I'm Dan Ligori.
And we have the soulful Miss Rae Gordon.
Oh, yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing so good. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm getting the cobwebs out.
Gotta get the cobwebs out. So have you been doing any performing in this pandemic and all this crazy stuff that's going on?
You know, it's been a little crazy, but you know, it's kind of interesting because the live streaming thing is kind of hit a little bit more. It used to be we didn't want people to live stream because we wanted people to come to the gigs. And but the thing about live streaming that was kind of great is you got a chance to connect with people that, you know, are all over the world, which was kind of cool. And also I was doing something at a friend's barn and called it Blues by the Barn, and that was kind of fun. Got a chance to show people some really cool farm animals and, you know, some cows. I mean, who doesn't want cows in their shop? Well, I hear cows are really good bass players, so I'm just saying, because you know they move and groove, move and groove. So but I have some great things planned this year. So and regardless, and I got to tell you, the one thing about the pandemic and stuff, besides just the awful things that are going on, is that it has brought people closer together, further apart, which is the weirdest thing. It's like, what do they do? No, come. But it made me realize, so then when we can only have like maybe 3 to 6 people at our gigs, it made me realize that we're all about like filling the seats and connecting with people and filling the seats, and how many people can we connect with and making money and filling the seats, connection, filling the seats. That I think sometimes we forget that one-on-one intimate experience. Like when I first started doing music, I was in LA and I was doing piano bars, and it was very intimate and very like one-on-one. And then somewhere along the way, it became all about filling seats and connections rather than connections first. Yeah. And that's the one thing. Yeah, the one thing that I saw recently was to be able to connect really with those people again. If there was 2 people in the audience, because no, you couldn't have more people, you connected with those people a lot more. And I think all of us as musicians are going to bring that back. When things come back, we're going to bring what we learned of what really matters and what we're all here for.
Yeah, that intimacy that you have when you're doing live shows, man, it's nothing like that in the energy you get from people. Not just like doing a big festival or a big venue, but the small clubs is like, it's the best for me when I'm performing, because like I said, you're right there with the people and you pull from their energy. And like I say, like you, I know you're a very approachable artist, so you feed off that. So that's a good thing. I'm pretty sure you're missing that, and every musician is missing that, really. But you mentioned you're doing live feeds and streaming. So how's that been working? I know it's not like getting the energy from the audience, but you are connecting with people all over the world.
Well, you know, it's kind of fun to like take a break while the band's doing a solo and see who's on and be able to call them out. And the idea that, you know, we have the intimacy when it's a very small audience, but we can have it with this really big audience too. So it's that interesting of knowing that somebody's at home sitting on a couch or you know, sitting someplace else, and that they're feeling it and stuff, and you can still feel it even though you can't see it. Yeah. And that really that digs deep into why we do this, is because we don't see it, we feel it, and then it becomes songs, and then we see it, you know, play live, but it starts as a feeling before it's out there. And I think all of us can learn by being away from each other in the regular norm. And people say, I want to go back to normal. And I say, I don't want to go back to normal. I want to go back to extraordinary. Exactly. It's like, let's go back to normal. I don't want to go back to normal. Is that all right? I don't want normal.
Yeah, I feel you. I agree with you on that. The hell with normal.
So when did you first get into blues? I mean, who was the first musician, and like, why did you get involved into blues?
Well, funny thing is, when I was in LA, I was doing stuff, and I was, doing all this, like standard stuff and kind of really laid back pop stuff. And it wasn't until I walked into a bar called Trails End Saloon in Oregon City, of all places, in Oregon, that I came across this. It was a jam, and it was Robbie Laws had this really successful long standing jam, and it was more about just the whole vibe, and it was the music kind of called to me, and I started learning about some of the stories behind the music and some of the people that we are just so grateful to be able to honor them by doing their music, and wherever we're from or not from, we get to honor them, the people that started blues, and be able to learn by their example.
Sure.
And so, yeah, it was a place in Oregon City, which is the end of the Oregon Trail. Officially, it's a historic place, Oregon City, the end of the Oregon Trail. And it was the end of my Southern California Trail coming up here. And it was a great feeling, the community and the music and the musicians that extended a hand, knowing that I didn't come from that background. I was all Madonna, man.
Was that
Madonna? My thing with Madonna, Bette Midler, and Aretha Franklin. So at least I had one working for me. So
right.
Yeah, that's how it started.
When you were in LA, did you get a chance to expose to any blues in Los Angeles at all, or not so much?
Not at all.
Oh, it was just Oregon.
Yeah.
Oregon, yeah. So just from that time in Oregon City.
I'm a late bloomer, but I still smell good. I'd say if you're a late bloomer, you could still have some nice smelling blooms. I'm just saying. Doesn't matter that it took a while.
When did you start singing?
I've always sung growing up and stuff, always making my own songs and stuff. But it was 19 when I started, illegally going into bars. So there you go. And in West Hollywood, of all places. But yeah. So I've been having a really good time. And Portland is such a great community to grow from. There's musicians left and right that are like, well-known musicians that will stop and tell you a little bit about something, or give you some pointers and stuff. I remember while I was in Sin City Festival before Big Blues Bender had the Las Vegas thing. I remember it was like 3:00 in the morning. Curtis Salgado comes in to the green room, and he sat down. Everybody's like slightly tired, but everybody's like, I don't want to go to bed. And he sat with me for an hour and played the same song over and over again, saying, this is where you're trying to teach me where to not to go too soon. And I always remember the whole time he was there playing it. See, he was like, you hear that? He spent this hour of his time trying to teach me so that I could be a better musician. Of course, the whole time I was like, oh my God, Curtis Salgado's trying to teach me something. So I forgot what he told me. But anyway, but I appreciated his help. So some of it got through, but most of it was like, oh my God, Curtis Salgado, one of my biggest, idols, is talking to me. So anyway.
So who of the founding fathers of blues did you first hear? Was it Muddy Waters, B.B. King? Who was the founding fathers that you first heard of blues?
I really, I kind of gravitated to like Jimmy Reed and Muddy Waters, and I loved B.B. King. I remember somebody had asked me to do a gospel show in a bar, and I'm like, I don't know, I didn't grow up in the church, and I was going through this. I was going through all these CDs because I was trying to find new songs to learn for the blues band, and I came across, in the middle of Susan Tedeschi was a misalphabetized B.B. King doing Precious Lord. And I always remember when I found that, and I was still trying to decide whether to do that show. And it made me realize that I needed to do that show. And I did it for years and years. I called it the First Sunday Gospel Show. And it was such an incredible thing to hear B.B. King doing, what I had learned him doing, and then doing gospel, and how it just really spoke to me. And then that's what got me kind of going into the gospel thing too. But yeah, so Jimmy Reed, I did like Susan Tedeschi. I'm a big fan, and then Bonnie Raitt. But I also am for the soul. Aretha Franklin really speaks to me. So she's I always tell people that my two favorite influences was Aretha Franklin and Bette Franklin and Aretha Franklin and Bette Midler, and you can call me Bette Franklin. So if you want.
And it's strange you say you didn't grow up on church, because I saw a few of your YouTubes and I'm like, oh, she got some soul, and a lot of singers get the soul coming from the church and whatnot, because you got a good mixture of soul, blues, little rock, and church influence in there. So I'm like, wow. So where did you get the soul from?
I don't know. I mean, people ask me that, but I just, I kind of, God, that's a good question. Did I get the job? That's all I want to know. Did I get the job?
Just say you was born. You were born with it.
I was born with it. I know that I had. I'm really the only person that's ever really gone anywhere with the music part in my immediate family. Mm-hmm. My brother plays a little guitar, and he wanted to be Iron Maiden, so I didn't go that route. I did. I used to get
Iron Maiden. What was it? Was he just grow up listening to Iron Maiden?
Yeah, he was always listening to Iron Maiden and Rat, and he had all the posters and Ozzy Osbourne and stuff like that. So he was always trying to get me to sing that stuff, but it was a big brother thing. I like to irritate him. So the soul, I saw. God, I know I have a good answer for this. So soul, I'm always extremely, I had a lot of anxiety, and I didn't fit in, and I was a very wise child. So now I'm a very immature adult. So I've kind of flipped the switch. So as a child, I felt too much, and I felt too much, and I was in pain too much. And then there was a switch. I think around 20, I may have been my age, but I've slowly but surely been kind of getting younger as I get older. And most of the time I'm like a 12-year-old boy with my sense of humor. But anyway, so I'd like to say it started young. I used to write poetry and stuff like that, and I just used to be too much of a, what do they call it? What's the fancy word for it? Not a medium, but when you feel too much. And hey, and is that the devil or a ghost I see? I don't know.
No.
So, but yeah, I kind of feel other people's feelings a lot, so it kind of comes out in my singing and in my writing. Whoa, that was really deep. Oh my God!
That took a lot out of you.
It did. I had to be serious for a second.
Well, you got a talent, man. I just want to know where it came from, because yeah, you were born with it, basically. All that stuff you said, you was born with it.
Well, too, is
I mean, it's something. Actually, it's something you really can't learn. You either have it or don't. Bottom line.
Well, here's the thing too. It's always interesting. So if you have people that write happy, 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 everything is awesome, yeah, or something like that, mm-hmm. They're probably very depressed and stuff. So if it's like I'm pretty upbeat, right? So right. I think if I wrote happy songs, you better be worried about me. But the thing is that when you're thinking so hard and you're you're starting to feel low, you write that song, you get it out. It's like therapy. So I think if that's how I do, and that's how, I get it out and then I can go back to being my irritating self. So that would be good. Yeah.
So that's a beautiful thing. Music been therapy for you. It's therapy for a lot of people.
It's great. How did you meet Johnny Bergen? Johnny Bergen was one of our about a month ago. I know you did a CD with him. How did you run into Johnny? How did it all work out to get that CD and connect together?
Oh, I couldn't hear that last part.
Oh, how did you get a chance to meet Johnny Bergen and get that? I know you played on a CD. How did you guys cross paths and make that all work out?
Oh, that was so cool. So, every big city and around the big city has wonderful music communities. And when you say community, it's the people that come to see you. It's the people that are married or getting divorced from their musician lovers. So it's all a family, and I really love the Bay Area, and I have some family in Santa Cruz. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start going every other month, kind of check it out, see family and stuff. So I started going every other month, and I met some wonderful people. There is such an incredible amount of people on and off stage that are amazing in the Bay Area. And I met Stephanie Tice. And she is the one that she does Basking in the Blues, and she had me on her program, and just such a wonderful, vibrant personality. And she's the one that introduced me to Johnny Bergen.
That was in Santa Cruz.
It was Stephanie. The what?
That was in Santa Cruz, California, where you met Johnny?
That was, I believe, Redwood City or San Jose, something like that. So then I met him, and so she was helping to produce his live album, and Johnny reached out and said, "Let's why don't you write a song? Let's do a song, and if you want to write one for the album." I'm like, sure. And then I'm like, oh, because I like to overthink things. I'm like, oh, I hope I pick something right. What am I going to write about? And I asked Stephanie, I go, what should I write about? She goes, you should write about dating a musician. And I go, oh, okay, I got it. So she said that, and immediately in my head was late night, date night. So then I wrote, late night, date night, see you at 3. Everybody wants you, but you come home to me. So it worked out great. So it worked out great, and I went down to Redwood Cafe. I forget the name of the city, but it was above Petaluma or below, where turkeys walk along the street. That was weird. And so it was amazing. Charlie Musselwhite was there, and his wife, and God, all these people. I was like, oh, I was in heaven. And Christopher Lund Anderson, and some amazing Nancy Wright on saxophone. What a joy. I felt really blessed. And that's been going good. And then we went to Chicago and did the CD release, and that was a lot of fun.
What was it like for your first time? Was that your first time going to Chicago, or had you been there before?
I had gone there and done I did the sit-in on a Monday at the Legends. And
Buddy Guy Legends.
Yeah, and the really cool thing about that is my guitar player at the time was in town, and I flew up, and I flew up, he flew up separately. His guitar did not. So while we were there, his guitar didn't show. So there was, I wish I remembered his name, but this is why it doesn't matter if you're in Chicago or you're in Portland. If you're a musician that is gonna respect a guitar, there's somebody that's gonna let you play the guitar. Now going out there, don't ask people to play everybody's guitar, but I'm just saying that it was a dream come true because he was able to borrow a guitar from a great guy that I had met, and it was really good. And I made Buddy Guy hug me. I don't know if he wanted to, but I told him I was going to regardless. So that was So we'll probably remember.
Buddy guy, huh? You got a chance to meet the guy and talk to him.
Involuntary hugging. That was pre-COVID though.
That
was
pre-COVID?
BC. It wasn't before Christ. It was BC, before COVID.
That was the only place you visited when you was here, just Legends?
Well, yeah, and then I drove to Kentucky for a blind date. So yeah, that was it.
We're not gonna talk about that.
Well, were you like, when you met Buddy Guy? Were you like, did you have always known about him? I mean, you came into the blues a little bit later. Did you always know about Buddy Guy?
Oh yeah, after I came into the blues, yeah. So he'd come to Portland, and he was playing the Roseland Theater, and I was like right understage watching him, taking pictures of him, and in his, I'm sure he was wearing polka dot at the time, and I was so excited, all these incredible shots that I got of him, and it turned out later they were all fuzzy, but anyway, but he was amazing. Just him playing with his guitar was just crazy good.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Tell us about your band. How did you meet those guys? You got a real solid band.
Well, great guys. So I had taken a break from having a band for a while, and then I was like, I got to put a band together, and was able to pick up some of the people I'd played with before. And my thing was that I wanted to do the International Blues Challenge. Mm-hmm. And so we got together, it was in June, we got together in April, and in 2 months we got to the semifinals locally, and then in July we won the contest, and then when we went to International Blues Challenge, I think we'd only been together about 9 months.
Oh.
So yeah, it was going really. It was the year that all women took first, second, and third.
Oh wow, so, nice.
Yeah, so we can do it. Some people may say that some of us can't drive, but I'm just saying that we can win first, second, and third. But I know I can ask for directions. Not that I do, but I'm saying that I'm really
during this pandemic. How are they doing, your band members? I mean, is everybody holding up okay?
They've been doing good. I mean, a lot of people are chomping at the bit, and I started to. So right now, I know for larger bands, it's really hard. A lot of sax players are wishing they played guitar at this point, and
yeah.
So it's like, the poor sax players. So what I started doing is I just had a gig where it was the keyboard player and the trumpet player. It worked really good. So right now, it actually worked really good. I didn't think it would, but it did. Then I had to tell the trumpet player, "You are right. Okay, you don't blow. You blow, but you don't blow."
Right.
So now it's like, I think we're going to be a lot more creative, but it's that one thing of how do you honor each of your band members when there's a 7-piece? I mean, I want to know how that happens. I mean, so that's what I'm going to try to do is this year, I'm doing a new CD and working really hard on writing for that and getting a little bit deeper than I ever have before. And then going to be working on a spiritual album as well.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Any ideas? Any direction you think you're going to with that?
Well, I like to find that. So when I was doing the first Sunday gospel show, my important mission was that whether you came from church or you would not be caught dead in church, I wanted you to be able to listen to a song and feel uplifted. So there's a couple songs that I think are important to get out there. One is about telling somebody to hold on one more day and don't say goodbye to the world, and that this will not last, and so I'm trying to find that sweet middle. Like there's people like Mandisa, Mandisa and stuff, and there's some incredible artists out there that just have these uplifting songs that will appeal to everybody, So I want to be able to uplift people no matter what walk they are with God or no God, is just finding that sweet spot in the middle. And then that other stuff is going to be a lot deep and just I'm going for a more gritty sound, and I'm looking forward to that. And the trumpet player, he'll come along.
Well, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear the finished product. I know it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Was it a transition for you to come from, more pop and other genres to the blues? I mean, what was it like in the first time? I mean, I know it's all different genres. So what was it like, when you first did to transition from, that kind of music into the blues?
Mm-hmm. Well, have you ever, I'm not saying anything, but have you ever worn a shirt that started to feel a little too tight?
Sure, yeah.
And then you go, okay, so do you ever put your arms in and then you try to push it out and try to get it more comfortable? And then it shrinks again. Yeah. That's what I feel like any other music. When I went to blues, it was like a shirt that fit. It was not just the shirt that I was wearing. It was a shirt a different shirt that felt more comfortable. And then there's a certain point where you realize that you could I don't knit, but let's say I do. So now I want to knit my own shirt. I've worn a shirt that somebody gave me. I've worn other shirts that somebody gave me. I've worn a shirt that I chose myself, but now in my life right now, I want to knit my own shirt. I want to make the arms as long as I want. I want to make the neckline as low as I want. I'll just, I'll knit my own shirt. So that's how I feel like when I came to the blues. Right. And now I'm ready for the next phase.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So it's a great story, that an example that it's never too late to get onto to latch onto the blues. I mean, that's a great, I'm glad you had mentioned that, because there's a lot of people that I have hope for that are maybe haven't heard this music yet that can latch on and be as successful as you are. So it's a great example.
Yeah. It's kind of like somebody finding, it's like if you look for a place to live and you're like, well, this will work. And then you find that place and you go, this is home.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it feels like. It's like, wow, I know this is home.
Yeah.
And I always say, I didn't build this house, but I'm just honored to be able to live in it.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what blues is. Yeah.
Very, very nice. So you pretty much, you got the bug and you're not turning back. You're all in.
I'm all in.
That's a good thing. So
and from this up, because you don't know if I'm wearing pants or not. That's what's so great about the blue thing. I love it. I feel it drop.
So what's the next step? What are you trying to do in the up and coming year? Hopefully the summer brings a lot more opportunities for people, man. I'm thinking maybe more festivals this summer than club gigs. So
well, I'm working on some events where I'm finding places that have a lot of space that you could, like I'm doing a craft fair, but like I like to put on events. So I'm doing a craft fair, but I'm gonna do a lot of booking of anything that I do event wise. I'm gonna book musicians and stuff. So I have musicians for that, and trying to find that middle ground of where people still feel comfortable and feel safe, but also can have an experience, because people really miss music, but it's also that community thing. And sometimes that's the only family some people had.
Yeah.
And so and that's the sad part, is like, if you're not close to your family and you don't have a lot of people come to your house and stuff, music is your family. And everybody matters. And I always tell people that that when you're not at a gig, not to browbeat them, but if an audience member is not, that loves to go out to music, is not there, you notice it. And I've had a couple instances in the first Sunday gospel show that I was doing, where people were missing, and I felt it missing. I said, that's not right. They would always be here. And they had passed away. And, and I was honored to sing at their memorial, but I would rather have not. So sometimes that's the stimulus and the friendship and the family that some people don't have. And so we all are, I always say we all are each other's keepers, our brother's keepers, and we need to embrace it.
Great. Yeah. Have you got a chance to go to the Rhythm Room in Phoenix, Arizona? Or
I haven't.
Yeah. Well, that's
Are you inviting me? All right, I'll go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, you may have heard of Bob Corritor. I don't know. He's a harmonica player. Have you heard of Bob?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, he is our one also Yanni's band member.
Okay.
So yeah, it is a premier blues club here in Phoenix, and gentleman just Corritor is the owner, and it's a very special place. I know Yanni can talk about that because you've played so many times there.
Yeah, it's Rhythm Room is a special place. It's the if you're looking for blues, the Rhythm Room is a place you want to be in Phoenix, Arizona. Bob Corritor, he's the owner, producer, and all of that good stuff. So
yeah, he also has a radio show on Sundays in Phoenix, from 6 to 11 Arizona time, called Those Low Down Blues, and that show's been on over like 35 years, and he goes into like the deep history of blues, and he's a pioneer for blues for Arizona, so that'd be a good friend of mine, and yeah, so we'd love to have you out when we get back to yeah, absolutely, for sure. Have you got an opportunity to play down in the Blues Foundation down in Memphis with folks down there?
Yeah, I played in Memphis a few times. Yeah, totally.
What was your experience like there?
So you're talking about the Blues Foundation thing?
Yes, yeah, the Blues Foundation.
Just at the IBC.
Right, the IBC, yeah.
Yeah. So I did that. Yeah, I'm there, and then I was doing the showcase because I'm a board member for the National Women in Blues. So, and what a great organization! Did you see that thing they just put on?
Oh, yeah.
That was put on for
the Foundation for Valentine's Day. Yeah, that was really good.
Oh my God, that was I did the poster, and I spent hours trying to. I was like, I got to make everybody's picture the same size.
Yeah.
just to be fair, I was just but it was such an honor to be a part of that. I didn't do much on it at all, and the big heartbeat of that is Michelle Seidman. She really is such a go-getter. But I was gonna go back to, we were talking about the pandemic and what's been happening and stuff, and I got to tell you, beside the terrible thing, and God bless all the families that have lost loved ones or have ongoing issues as a result of this terrible disease. The positive side of it is people having so much more time to kind of dig deeper, and I'm going to be excited to see what kind of music is coming out, because of all the time people have been doing with writing music and lyrics and stuff like that, and then all the other projects that are happening. And I started a project, and I'm working on the first episode. It's I think we're going to call it I'm going to call it or maybe I shouldn't tell you what I'm going to call it. So I'm going to call it.
Tell us what you're going to call it, because it's exclusive. You hear it here first.
No. Oh no, we're gonna have to watch for it. But do you know Dave Million?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dave Million and me, for some reason, when we get together, besides irritating people around us, we seem to irritate people in the afterlife. So, we've got, ready for this. So we've got people on recording. Like one time we were in Trails End Saloon, which is supposed to be really haunted. Me and him were there alone. We were trying to catch a ghost, and the ghost goes, "Please leave." So we had a ghost tell us to please leave. So we were the only ones there. So now my thing is gonna be doing we're going to be visiting haunted venues. So that's going to be pretty fun. So that's why I was wondering if the Rhythm Room was haunted.
Well, the Rhythm Room, certainly we've had a lot of legends of blues that have came through the Rhythm Room. And actually this September will be the 30-year anniversary, but the Rhythm Room has had some legends, of musicians, including throughout the 30 years, and it's a very special place. Yeah, it's definitely, we got a lot of support here in Phoenix for it, and
nice.
it really is. It's Bob Cortor's really helped bring the family of blues to Arizona, originally from the Chicago area, and came to Phoenix, Arizona, and has took the roots of blues and has made it really for Phoenix, Arizona special. So it is a special place. We'd love to, I guess, we'd love to have you out here for that.
Yeah,
Was he owned it there for 30 years?
Yeah, since 1991, it's been open. It's since 91.
But how long has Bob owned it?
Bob has owned it for 30 years. Since September 91, he opened it up and has been in Arizona since the early 80s and had his radio show and has been really, he's really as a musician really a strong supporter of blues, and has met a lot of musicians and has helped a lot of musicians. So we're happy to have him and Yanni, and his father Dave is also a band member, along with Brian, drummer, and so that's how I got a chance to meet Yanni and Bob Cortor and Brian Fahey and Dave's father, Dave Riley Sr. So yeah, I mean, I've been going there for many years, and I miss it. It's since this pandemic. I live in just outside of Phoenix, so I get a chance to go to see the Rhythm Room and go to so many shows. I can't wait till we come back.
I know. So you agree that it's like family, right? It's like not being able to see a family.
But for blues, it is. I mean, I think that it's like you're a part of the music, and just like the personability, to get an opportunity to get a CD signed from a blues musician. The personability of blues to me is always what has made me a blues fan for my whole life, and it's just something that it sticks with me. I have memories of it all the time. I mean, you're walking down the street and you have memory of a concert in blues. It's just, is that for you too? Just even as you get a chance to go to watch as a spectator blues shows. I mean, you played. Did you ever get to watch other musicians too as like a spectator?
It's so funny, and it's so that you say that. So I had a gig recently, and then so I was playing downtown Portland. They started this really cool thing. So there's where they do circles around downtown, and then you play in the circle, and it's supposed to be like 6 feet. It's kind of cute, kind of like a little bit of a awareness kind of campaign. So it was me and a great guitar player named Ken Brewer, and while we were there, Kevin Self comes up and he's watching us, and it's always such. I'm a big Kevin Self fan, and or Lisa Mann, and so I know how it feels when somebody comes to my gig, and it's like they could be doing anything tonight, and they could be home relaxing, but they're coming to my gig even for a few minutes to support, and it's just great. And that's why I never take for granted when an audience member comes to my gig. And here's the thing is whether there's one person in the audience and for some reason nobody else is there, I'm going to play like there's 100 people there. And the thing is that you, Dan, as coming to as an audience member, you could go anywhere else, and you come to my gig, it's gonna be like you're the only person there, because you could be anywhere else, and I just totally am honored every time somebody comes to my gig, even if it's just for a few minutes. So
yeah, that's a wonderful thing about the blues. A lot of the artists, the majority of the artists, are so approachable when they really into their fans, and don't mind taking a picture or signing a CD, and and getting emails and all of that stuff. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a family atmosphere, man, and we make the audience feel warm, and it's just a beautiful camaraderie. So,
I was going to say, so I was doing the first Sunday gospel show. I mean, I've done it for years and years and years, and I did it at this one place, and at the time I had a bass player named Ed Campy, and I was just tired. I don't know what was happening. I came to the gig to get ready, and I told him, I go, oh my God, I said, I just don't feel like doing this today. And I'm like, I'm just not into it. He didn't answer or even acknowledge what I said. He said, you know what? We are so lucky. We get to do things that people would love to do. Isn't that awesome? He says, we are so blessed. And I go, I don't feel bad anymore.
I mean, what can you say after that?
I don't know. I'm like, okay. So, yeah, it was the most surreal, like, awesome thing that somebody could ever told me, and it kind of woke me up. And I'm like, no matter if I have a headache or whatever, you know what? I'm gonna make sure that nobody in the audience regrets that they chose to come hang out with me.
There you go. There you go. And like I said, after saying something like that, what can you say? What can you say? Yeah, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
We are blessed. We're blessed.
So
totally.
who would your like musicians that what you'd like to play in blues that you haven't got a chance to play with? Are there any like set of musicians you haven't played with that you would like to play with on stage?
Oh my God! Locally, I've been so lucky to, like, Lisa Mann's a big, I'm a big fan of Lisa Mann, and there's a gal named LaRonda Still, but we've played together, and I used to do with Lisa Mann the Etta James tribute, and that was amazing.
Oh wow!
But
I can see that. I can see that with you too. Wow! Yeah. You got? Do you guys got any video footage of that?
Do we have video of that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I gotta check. I gotta look that up.
Oh my God, it's so great. So Duffy Bishop was in that too. Lady Cat, Amy Keys. So LaRonda Still. I always tell LaRonda Still, if you don't know who she is, I don't want to talk to you anymore. But anyway, if you don't know who she is, look her up. She has the deepest, beautifulest voice. And I tell her that her voice is so delicious that if I had a huge fork, I'd eat it out of the sky. Just like, ooh. But anyway, I know that sounds weird, but it's true. You'll hear her voice and go, I wish I had a big fork to eat her voice out of the sky.
Okay.
So, but you know what? I had wished that I could do a couple songs with Joey Delgado, and then I did. So I did that. God, who else? There's so many amazing people out there. I'd love to do something with Curtis Salgado, but I'm a big fan of his. Locally too, I've really been lucky to be able to do some, and I got one. Beth Hart. Beth Hart would be. I love Beth Hart. I call her my spirit animal because I think about her when I'm writing some of my stuff, because when you listen to her when you see her live, she is so intimate with her audience, and you do feel like you're the only person that she's talking to, and that is amazing. And the fact that she's so vulnerable, I don't think I've gone deep enough with my writing yet. And this next CD it's very deep. I mean, there's songs called Racing the Devil, about racing from addiction and stuff like that. And there's, the thing about trying to get somebody not to kill themselves. So, I mean, it's like deep stuff. I'm going to have the fun, goofy parts too, to kind of like, it's kind of like putting butter on dry toast. So you got to put a little butter, maybe some sugar. So it's kind of like giving somebody cough syrup and put a little grape juice in there to make it taste good. But anyway, Beth Hart is my spirit animal, and I just hope that my next CD, going deeper than I've ever gotten before, will just be something that she would put in her player and go, I dig it.
You got a date on that new CD yet?
The what?
You got a date on a new CD yet?
So what's today? That's good. Looking at trying to get in the studio in April, and I want to release it in June.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
you was just mentioning about the pandemic and how you waiting for a lot of musicians to come out after the pandemic with their CDs and their music. Everybody should have new music.
Now, they're going.
I would tell you this. I done spoke to a lot of musicians, and none of them been writing or doing music. And it's like, what have you been doing? Oh, I've been doing this. I've been building a woodshed. I've been, working on my basement. I've been doing this, doing that. No one has been working on music.
Oh, you know what? They're probably just not as open as I am. They're probably just, you're going to go, you told me. You'd be like, I was kind of keeping it under wraps. And me, I'm just like an open book.
Well, it's a lot of them that's saying that if they keep it under wraps, damn. I'm trying to give them exposure and help them out, but yeah, no, I don't have anything and this, that, and I'm like, get the hell out of here, for real, seriously. Oh yes, I haven't been writing. I haven't even picked up my guitar. I'm like, damn, how?
What? Well, you better hurry up. And the one thing I'm excited about this one is going to have a lot of guests, and there's somebody that I talked to, a guitar player that I love, and then I've been talking to some of the local singers around here, and and there's one in San Francisco I'd like to get on there too. So I've learned so much from different communities. Like I had a great time in Houston. Those Houston folks are amazing. Down in the Bay Area, down in LA. So I'm hoping to bring a little bit of that to the CD as well.
Okay, tell the people about the music scene in Portland. How's the music scene in Portland?
The music scene in Portland is great. So, there's people like Kevin Self and Lisa Mann, and Curtis Salgado makes his home here. And there's a really great group of people, and I don't know about like Chicago and stuff, but the jams really have been a way to help people and to build people and to make new bands and stuff, and that's been great. And what's great about jams is when people go to different jams to support it, it's not always that group's over there, that group's over there, and what I like is the venues are very supportive of that kind of stuff, even though they know most of the people are going to drink water. So
exactly.
Yeah. So, and then also one of the top places in town called Blue Diamond, I think it's been 1.5 years, maybe 2 years, was purchased by a woman named Sunny Hess. And she's a blues player, and it's nice, just like Bob, in the Rhythm Room. It's so nice to have a blues player owning a club. And so she's trying to, you know what, I give her so many kudos, because she's still got to be, hardball on certain things, but she also still wants to be friends with people and stuff. So she has been able, I think, to find that good middle ground on that. Yeah. And so I appreciate that. Yeah. And she's where I played with the trumpet player, even though I didn't think it would work.
That's crazy. Yeah. Would you say it's a pretty supportive blues scene in Portland for the blues specifically?
It is. And then also the Cascade Blues Association is one of the longest running, I think one of the longest running societies, I believe, in the Pacific area, and the president, Greg Johnson, also works really hard, and he has been one of the people for many years to run one of the stages at the IBC. And so so there's a lot of people really trying hard, and another thing is that I think I appreciate too is I'm always coming up with some crazy ideas to do stuff, and they've always been supportive and helped. Other people think it's crazy, but I don't. But here's a good example of people coming together. So the Blue Diamond got not shuttered, but got closed because of COVID. And so they went to just takeout. So I approached Sunny Hess. I said, well, what about delivery? She said, well, we wouldn't have anybody to deliver. So I wasn't doing anything because, I didn't have a day job and I didn't have gigs. So I was able to work with her and be her driver for a while. And then I put a call out. To the musicians and to the audience. I just put a call out on CBA, which is Cascade Blues Association. I had people that came from, I had Karen Lovely, Lisa Mann's guitar player, Jason Thomas. So I had an audience member, I had musicians, and including Karen Lovely, and some incredible people come forward and take driving shifts. And to me, that's a good example to show you how tight Portland is, how wonderful it is that you'd have an audience member, you'd have musicians, and you'd have other people, that could be doing anything else, not writing music, maybe just hanging out with their guitar. So what I want you to do, and anybody that's watching this, is if you look at Jason JT Thomas's Facebook and look at his videos. So when he had his shift, he would get out of the car with his guitar and he would play in the street. He would deliver the food and we'd play in the street. And another one that I delivered to was this lady. She moved from Ireland to Seattle. And she moved down to Portland because she had seen that the Portland music scene she liked a lot. She's not a musician. She's an audience member and she's family now, right? She moved to Portland because of the music. So when I delivered food to her and sang her song out the back of my car, she cried, and I was just like, wow, this is what everybody's missing, is the chance to connect.
Yeah.
But that's the example of people coming together from the music scene up here to help a venue kind of keep the doors open during this hard time.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it really is. Would you say from your experience as being a musician, and through the years, what would you say like your biggest the biggest thing that you've learned from really just as a musician that that you could say I've learned from this? And was there one thing through this journey that you've learned that you could still consider this is like something I'm taking with me?
Yeah. Well, the number one thing is to admit when you don't know everything.
Sure.
So there was a time when I was intimidated by people that knew more than me. Everybody still knows more than me, but I'm not intimidated. But when I chose to play with people that knew more than me, which is not hard to do, the more I learned and the more I was able to provide a better product. And in any situation, when you admit that you don't know something and you ask, it's not only admitting and knowing what you don't know, it's telling somebody, why does that happen like that? Like to me, why can't they call a 14510? Just add it together. I don't know why. I think it was easy. I'm just a little bit more practical. So, but the more, there's this, one of my favorite guitar players in town is called AC Porter. So years ago, when I got into the blues, he was, he still is just an amazing guitar player. He knows so much. And he was like in the group that knows so much. And, it's a little intimidating for somebody, who, Like a Virgin was one of my favorite songs. So anyway, but now I can't identify. So
Like a Virgin, the Madonna song? You're talking about Madonna?
I can't feel it. Yeah, I know. I could be like a virgin.
You're talking about the Madonna song?
What?
You're talking about Madonna's song, Like a Virgin?
Like a Virgin. I just, for some reason, I have to really feel the song, and I don't feel that anymore. I don't know why. It might be an age thing. But anyway, so AC Porter came to my house, and he played Rock Me Baby over and over and over and over again. And then when I was done with it, he played it over and over and over again. So he would go, see the 1, 5, he went over and over again until I started to lie and say that I understood. And then he played it again like 20 more times. So the fact that he came to my house and worked with me on that, because I needed to know that, was just so amazing. I always will appreciate him for that. And then, like I said about the jams, and then people really want, you admit that you don't know what you're doing, they'll help you. And there was another guy when I first started out named Timber Blakely, and he's such a go-to bass player. So he was in the jam. He was one of the jam hosts, and at that time I didn't know what keys were, and when anybody would say is on the key of C, I go, oh, okay, and then just hope that it was. So, you know what? So I told Timmer, I said, you know what? You know, because at that time I had about 10 good songs that I was working with. I said, you know what I should do? I should just tattoo on my butt all the songs and all the keys. So then he could say, what key is that? I could just drop my drawers. Oh, I realized that wouldn't work because then he'd think all the songs were in the key of O.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that doesn't work. This isn't G-rated, is it? Oh, who's that? The key of O.
That would be good.
Yeah, well, thankfully I know the keys now, so no key of O.
Yeah, that's a very important thing. That's a very important thing.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. What would you tell a young lady that's doing the same thing you're doing or want to start out doing what you're doing? What would be the first steps for them to get to where you're at?
You know, I think if you say three things is one, let people know when you don't know something, because it can be embarrassing to say, you know what, I'm trying to play catch up. You know, learn from people around you. And also don't be afraid to fail. So it's funny because somebody was telling me that they wanted to do the runs and stuff like that. And so she was singing and she was trying to do the runs. But I realized that she had come from an educated background where she had a degree in music, but, you know, and I don't have a degree or anything, but she wanted to do more kind of the style that I do. And I said, you know what? I said, I know what it feels like to not want to make a mistake. So I told her, I said, pick a song and just sing the hell out of it and be okay with not being on key, you know, just feel that embrace just being wherever it takes you and don't be afraid to fail. So let's see, a third thing would be is don't be afraid to make a fool of yourself. I mean, for some people, that's, you know, part of my daily ritual. But for other people, they may not want to make a fool of themselves. And don't be afraid to fail. You know, see, I always think if you fail, that means you're trying, right?
Exactly.
If you haven't failed, you're not.
A song from Little Milton, you know this one. Yeah, nothing beats a failure like another try.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's a Little Milton song that he has. It's get a chance to listen to it. It's called you know,
right.
Nothing bigger but another try. So,
and then another thing I would like to say about blues, where I tell a lot of young people that gets into it, and don't search for fortune and fame. Try to find the love in it, and at best you can make a living.
Yeah,
exactly.
At best you can make a living.
Yeah, I mean, if you can find a love for it, and that's the most important, you know. And
that's the most important. Find a love for it, then everything else will fall in place. But fortune and fame, it's only a handful. It's always been like that. So what can you do?
Make passion your paycheck and just pretend your paycheck is a lot. So, make passion your paycheck. $200. Woo! So you know what? A couple of things I wanted to say, if I still have time, is what I would tell people is something I learned at the IBC was they were saying over and over again was to play like you have something to say, not something to prove.
Yes.
Like, wow, that's pretty good. And then another thing the IBC was an incredible experience for me. And what people don't realize a lot, this is talking about the fail thing, right? Is I tried six times locally to get to the IBC. So I failed. And recently, this incredible, a couple years ago, this incredible singer named Nick Wixom, he tried once, he failed, and he's like, I'm done with this. I'm just going to do sound. I'm just going to do sound and just work on this. He has not tried again from what I've tried to get him to do it. He is an incredible singer. He's got this incredible voice. He was so dejected. I said, you know what? I tried 6 times. And then I was at the IBC 3 times before I got to the finals. And this, and there's one thing that happened that I believe got me to the finals. And it was an approach I took, not me, not the band. So the first 2 times I was at the IBC, and this is to hook back into telling people that want to try stuff and want to become more themselves, right? Is the first time I'm like, oh, it was just overwhelming. The second time I'm like, what do they want? What do they want? What are the judges? I heard the judges were wanting gritty. I was like, okay, I can be gritty. And then I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be what they want and stuff. So then the third time, I said, I'm just going to be the best me I could be. And when I got to the before I got to the semifinals, when I got to the semifinals and I found out who was playing, I watched everybody, not to get psyched out or whatever, or to go, oh, I'm better. It was to see what I did different. I looked at everybody and found what was more authentically me and raised that up. Just like everybody else had such an incredible them, Nothing against any of them. They were all amazing. So one guy was an incredible guitar player that would get into his playing, and he should get into his playing more. You know what I'm saying? So I was just me, and I was like, wow, I got to the finals, I think, because you got to be the best you and compete against yourself. And another thing I wanted to say, I had a very, I guess you call it spiritual happening that happened in at BB King's. So it was our semifinals, and I was so nervous. And I don't know if you know about BB King's, and there's that old staircase
in Memphis.
Between. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So it's inside, but it's a kind of not a lot of people are going through it. So I went there. We were going to be up after the next band. So I went there and I just prayed. I was stressing out. I was so nervous. I'm like, oh my God, some big thing. It's so awesome. I closed my eyes and I started seeing these white balls. And I opened my eyes and go, what the heck is that? I closed my eyes again. I see these white balls. Because remember, I was coming back from the second time where I was like, what did the world want? What do the judges want? Because I'll do that. So I'm seeing these balls, and I looked, and I started watching those balls come down, and I realized they were sheep. So it was all these sheep coming down a country road. Open my eyes, I go, okay. So again, I should be sheep. I should be like whatever they want. And in my head, I heard shepherd. And then I realized that my way to go into this was that I was the shepherd and the audience is the sheep. And I'm there to help them have a good time. Exactly. I am the shepherd. So every time I got nervous, I would think, I'm the shepherd. It's my responsibility. These are my charges. They're going to have a good time. And I'm going to keep after them. I'm going to make sure they're having fun and that they have a good time and they enjoy their experience. And so I went outside afterwards, and there was a couple young girls that were doing the "We'll pray for you." They had signs, "Let us pray for you." And I go up to them, I go, "Will you pray with me?" They said, "Yes, what do you want to pray for?" And I said, "I want to get to the finals." And they go, "You want to get to the finals?" I said, "You said you'd pray for me, right?" And so we were in a circle and we're praying for me to get to the finals. I said, if I get to the finals, I'll give it up to God. I said, come on. So they're like, okay. And then I got to the finals. So I'm just saying that, when you feel nervous, when I felt nervous and I felt like everybody was looking at me, I said, you know what? It is my duty to show them a good time, and they are in my charge. So that was an incredible experience that happened in between the BB King's and the other building when I was alone. I could just be needing new glasses or something, or maybe it was some sort of aneurysm, but maybe not.
No, you're right. You came to your senses. That's right. You're right.
I was still going to be like a sheep. I still was going to be whatever they wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Me to be. And that was the moment that changed it for me. And I'm so grateful.
And that's good. But that was a great experience for you, though.
Yeah, and you know what? And my next, you know, my goal now is to be the wolf. So there you go.
I'm pretty sure you're not gonna have a problem with that. So, like I say, we got a new album coming out soon. No date. No date. I'm trying to pull at you so I can get at least a title or something from it. No title.
Well, yeah, I do have a title.
It's a secret.
I don't know. It's a fun title though. It's like I want to do a airplane banner because I'm, So here's what's great about music, right? So is you could say things and get the feelings out. So I broke up with somebody that was such a nice guy. Mm. It's just we weren't aligning with certain things, but there's nothing really wrong with them. But I felt like such a jerk. So I wrote a song about myself, like as if I really was that jerk. And it's called, oh, well, I mean, someday I'll tell you. Okay. I'm just saying that by breaking up with this guy, and I felt like it broke his heart, and he was wanting to do more and be more, and I just felt, like a messed up, low down, dirty girl. I really did.
Yeah. There's a word for that. You know that, right?
What?
I'm not gonna say it.
I felt like a messed up, low down, dirty girl. I'm just saying that, that's what I felt like. Messed up, low down, dirty girl.
Well, hopefully he see this. I feel sorry for you, guy. She did you wrong. She did you wrong. Listen to the CD. She did you wrong. She gonna talk about you.
Yeah. Oh no! Shoot! I promised that.
Oh, you let the cat out the bag. You let the cat out the bag.
Yeah. The last time I did that, it was bad because I broke up with somebody, and then they were crying at a gig, and that was not good. But I really am not a messed up, low down, dirty girl. But sometimes I feel like it. So hopefully,
So do you put a lot of life experience into your music?
I do. So did you ever hear my song Mississippi Mud?
I haven't, no.
Oh, okay. So the song is baby, I'm in deep. I can't eat and I can't sleep. The whole world's spinning. So it's Mississippi Mud, Mississippi Mud. Everyone seems to have you, but no one's got a clue. I thought you were all mine, but you've moved on through. And it's all about a cold I got, a cold I had. Mm. So I like to play, it's like my legs feel like a marble stone because I'm sick. I feel like my legs feel like 15 tons. So I love to write songs that you think are one thing, but another, but it's all life experience for sure.
That roller coaster ride. I love it. I can't wait till it come out, whatever title it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as I'm not a messed up, low down, dirty girl.
Have you got a chance to meet Muddy Waters' son, Mud Morganfield?
No. What is it?
His name is Mud Morganfield. He's the eldest son of Muddy Waters. He's a.
Oh yes! Oh my God! He was so awesome.
You met him?
What a terrible tragedy, for him to be gone.
Well, you're talking about. I'm talking about Mud Morganfield.
Yeah.
Muddy's son. Yeah. Were you talking about tragedy? His brother? Or?
Oh, his brother. Who was it that passed away?
Muddy Waters. Mud Morganfield is the oldest son of Muddy Waters.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if you had ever met him. He's also a blues musician. That's the son of Muddy Waters. I don't know if you ever met Mud yet.
Oh, maybe it was. Maybe I thought he was the one that passed away, but it was his other son.
He had a brother a couple of months ago that passed away, Joseph Morganfield.
But
Mud is
at IBC then.
Yeah. But Mud is resembles very much like Muddy Waters. He's
okay.
He's
really cool, right?
What's that?
He's really tall.
But yeah, he's also based in Chicago, and he plays very much like He plays a lot of his songs, and it's very strong. There's a resemblance of him. Yeah, he's a good friend of myself and Yanni and Bob. Yeah.
I like tall men because sometimes I don't know if the top of the refrigerator is clean or not. So sometimes if they could see that, that's great.
Yeah. So who would your Yanni? I know you've asked this question, but the Mount Rushmore of blues be like if you had like three musicians. You've asked that three musicians, living or not, that who would you want to see blues? I mean, and we've talked about a lot of musicians. They like three
to see. You know what? I'll meet your one and raise you two. So there, BB King and Bonnie Raitt were doing a double playing together in Portland, and I decided I'll see them next time.
Really?
So I am still kick myself for not going, because can you believe that? How amazing that concert must have been.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm not very limber, so otherwise I would kick my own butt for that. But what a great thing. And but I've also been really lucky to see, like, I saw Susan Tedeschi and the Blind Boys of Alabama playing the same bill. That was amazing.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. So I did see Bette Midler, but anyway, and I'm not gonna wear fishtails, but I would love to see Aretha Franklin in person. That would have been a dream come true if I had had a chance before she passed away. But I did see Etta James at the Blues Festival here in Portland. That was amazing. I pretty much saw the top of her hair because there was so many people. So that's my impersonation of watching Etta James.
Do you do like the tributes? Do you do tributes to Aretha Franklin? Do you like the most popular songs? Have you done that?
I did. Yeah, I did a one I called Respect, and the trumpet player was there. He was really happy, so I did that at the Blue Diamond, and that was fun. Alan Kalick, have you seen me? I swear to God,
what's the name of your trumpet player?
Alan Kalick. He's amazing.
Bro, she keep throwing you under the bus. I just want to say that.
Okay. I gotta say though, he's awesome because I had 9 days without power at my house, and even the cat and the dog didn't want anything to do with me after 9 days. But so he and his wife opened up their home, and I took a shower and hogged their Wi-Fi for about 3 hours. I said, I just need an hour, and then 3 hours later, I'm still there. But that was nice. But I got my power back.
Yeah. Okay. You say you do live feed. You still do live feeds? Like
what?
You do live feeds and streaming?
I was doing a thing I called Blues by the Barn every Friday, and then that kind of went away. Kind of finished up the season because it started to get rainy up here. But I'm going to start booking some bands for that. And one thing that I did this last during COVID times was there was a wine bar on Main Street in the historic downtown Oregon City area, and she asked for help in booking bands across the street from her to busk, and so she gave them food and she gave them some money, and that was amazing because I never thought that booking was really my thing. I booked before, but not in a regular way for a series.
Right.
And it felt really good to give musicians gigs.
Yeah.
We look at it as like, are we giving a gig that we could be doing or something? But you know what? Suffice to say, it feels good. So it feels good to play and to help your friends and loved ones play too. So I'm going to be doing more of that this year as well. Is setting some trios and duos up and at special places, and yeah.
Okay, tell us about your website, RaeGordon.com.
RaeGordon.com. It has an R in it, and there's an A. Is
a G too?
I think so. on. So I'm
We got
gonna
any
be
merchandise? We got CDs. What we got on
we
there?
do. We have CDs and we have some T-shirts and stuff. So the last CD was primarily written by the keyboard player Pat McDougall. So he also designed the Wrong Kind of Love CD and the T-shirts and stuff. So that's kind of fun. And you can go on there and click on. It's either store or buy, and you'll have some stuff you can buy from there, as well as do some downloads of the CD or of the songs, Wrong Kind of Love and what's on there. And then the one prior to that was Better Than I Was. And then I think I'm thinking about doing a CD called Better Than I Wasn't, but that's on the back burner.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Better than I weren't.
Yeah.
But yeah, go on there and check it out. So Rae Gordon, and it's kind of sparse right now as I start to fill it up with gigs that I've been booking. Have some fun stuff coming up in April. I'll be at another place in April, and yeah, slowly but surely it's coming back.
That's great.
But hopefully, hopefully we all learned a lesson that one-on-one connection, whether it's with 3 people in the audience or 1,000 people, that does matter, and that we could still connect with everybody. I'm always a believer that we could still make everybody feel like the only person in the room.
Yeah.
So, woo, that was deep. Whew. Okay. I'm gonna need a big nap after this one.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me too, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I did a blues radio show up in Flagstaff, Arizona last year, and with the pandemic, it got a lot more limited. I wanted to have you on last summer, and then when I had me and Yanni had started this blues podcast, I remembered that you were going to be a guest, and we weren't able to get it done. But so I wanted to have you on, and yeah, absolutely. I know you're a friend of Lisa Mann and Johnny and Stephanie Tice and everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, Lisa. Oh, have you heard some of her new
Lisa was on the show about a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I met Lisa here in Phoenix and through this program.
I'm such a big fan of hers. She is the. You know what? I got to tell you that in the Portland area, she is known. I don't know if it's everybody knows this, but from people that I talk to, I'm a little scared right now. Are you? Do I have something in my nose?
No. Yanni was just sending me something.
Oh, okay. I thought you were looking to make sure that I was clear. So Lisa Mann is known behind the scenes as the best band leader in town. So I really look up to her for what she does and how she does her things and how she plays and how she runs her band and stuff. And that's really important. And I appreciate being able to learn from people like that. Again, if you can't balance a checkbook, admit it. And somebody will help you. So, and I was also going to say, let's see, Lisa Mann. Oh, have you heard her song, In the Doghouse?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about I love that song.
Good song. It is, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about all those dogs barking at the end?
Pretty interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know who did all those dogs?
No, was it you?
Yep.
Oh, you did a whole, wow.
So, I thought I'd be famous for singing, but I guess it's also dog barking. So anyway, listen to it again. So this is why I love Lisa. So she calls me up, and she's an incredible songwriter. So I am so passionate about the lyrics she comes up with. So, and the hooks and everything, and the melodies, and just everything. So she calls me. She goes, "Hey," she goes, "I'm working on a CD project. I would love you to do some background." I go, "Oh, great." I'm like, "Oh, that's great. I'm gonna sing." And so I get there and she goes, well, I'm going to have you sing too, but I want you to bark like a dog. And I go, what? Because she knows that, you know, I bark like a dog. So not in an intimate sense. So anyway, that I don't have to have intimacy to bark like a dog.
We're going to come back to that. We're going to come back to that.
Yeah. Sure. So I go, do you want the Mastiff? Do you want the Chihuahua? Do you want the Pit Bull? Do you want the Hound Dog? What do you want? Do you want the Pug? She goes, I want them all. So we went over and over again, and I worked all these breeds of dogs. You know, I didn't know which one she was going to pick, and then find out that she's picked them all. So it was the most interesting and cool recording experience that I ever had.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
But
you may not like it, but your ex. This ties into your ex. You do a good dog impersonation because you got dog in you because what you did to your ex.
Oh, that's messed up.
No, is it?
That's low down. That's a dirty girl. I do. Oh. Well, I did have one song called "I'm Just a Dog Looking for a Better Bone." Somebody help me.
Why are you doing him like that?
But you know what it's about, though. I'm just a dog looking for a better bone. Somebody help me find a happy home. Do you know what that's about? It's about trying to find another job.
Yeah.
Okay.
You at least have a similar voice. I mean,
I know. I am on one of the songs, the title track to the new Untitled CD. I'm gonna ask her to do some background vocals on that because I'm looking for like this kind of like similar tone thing, you know, and to thicken up the hook on the untitled CD that I'm working on.
That'll definitely work. You both got strong voices, though. I mean,
oh, I love her.
Geez.
No, she was influenced by a lot of strong vocalists. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, there's so many amazing people out there. But you know, going back to that influence and stuff, I think Aretha Franklin and Beth Hart. Well, I mean, right now Beth Hart is, you know, like I said, my spirit animal, and just how vulnerable she lets herself be, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm gonna get past that. Look at me, don't look at me. Look at me, don't look at me. Just to just look inside me. So,
do you think that your best material is still ahead of you right now?
I think so. This next CD, I think, because I'm not afraid anymore to let it all out. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting and scary.
Well, here's the thing: is, you know, it's funny because Facebook and social media has taken over for some intimacy in these COVID times, and some ingenuine intimacy that people think they're closer to people than they're not. And I am a very positive person. I like to inspire people, but I noticed that when I admit something, there was something, I don't know what it was. Recently, I posted something and I admitted something, and I don't even know what it was, but somebody shared that to somebody and said, you see, so-and-so, there's other people that feel like you're not alone. And it touched me because I was like, wow, because the lady said, she forwarded and said, Rae is somebody that I think has it all together. And see, even her feels like you're not alone, you're going to get through it. And it made me realize that in being vulnerable just a little bit, that it made a difference to two people. Mm-hmm. And it made a difference to somebody who could help their friend through something, to say, you know what, this person seems like they really have it together, but they're not together like you're not together, and that's okay.
Right.
And
Right.
It's kind of, it's like lyrics and songs are your babies anyway, and it's like letting your baby go out to play with the idea that somebody may say, "Moo, you got an ugly baby." So you're gonna take your baby out of the stroller or something, maybe it's a little strange looking. So here's the thing, to really let it out, you're letting your whole family out to be judged, because that's your children. You're letting the whole pack out. But if that means that somebody will feel not alone, isn't that worth it? One time I wrote a song about thanking somebody for being a jerk. I said, thank you for treating me so bad so I can get the respect I never had. And somebody said that song she played over and over again because she was in a similar situation, and she could feel that she could thank her ex now that he put her through the ringer, because it made her appreciate not being with him and teaching her some things. And I'm like, wow, we really have a chance to really make a difference for people that feel alone, or they feel like they're the only ones that didn't, or only ones going through that. So I'm hoping to do that with the next one.
So
like more.
From what you're saying, it seems like to me like you really taking the role as recognizing how you inspire people.
Well, just people, especially with the pandemic, people feel so alone.
Yeah.
I mean, oops, sorry, my dog's barking. Just that, so you got the pandemic, and then recently people are still in the dark. So we had a terrible ice storm here in the Portland area. I was 9 days without power, and I recently took a part-time job with social services, and with the county social services, and I'm dropping off food at people that need it. And I'm dropping off places where people have been alone without power. So they're already alone. There's this gentleman that was alone. He's in his 80s, and he's without power. And you're the only person he's going to see for days, giving him food. And that's like writing. So when somebody listens to music, it's like you're giving them food.
Yeah.
It's like you're giving them a food that they can digest and that can make them feel full. Mm-hmm. Or you're giving them junk food, right? Not saying that people write junk food, but what I want to write, and junk food's fun. Don't get me wrong. I'm not, I'm not putting down junk food. But say this metaphor, mm-hmm. I want to give them meat and potatoes. I want to give them stuff that they can live off, and they could feel fulfilled and satisfied, and not something they're going to be hungry in an hour. I want an earworm. Well, earworms are hungry too. But anyway, so I want them to be fulfilled for a long time. And how am I going to write stuff that really gets to them that way? So
much respect that you recognize in that, because I'm not saying a lot of artists, but some don't recognize that. They just put a body of work out and just, it is what it is. But it's good that you recognize that, because a lot of people take music to heart and it actually changed their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Beth Hart has that "Leave in LA" song. Or no. There's a song by Beth Hart called I think it's called "I Leave the Light On." It's, if you haven't heard it, listen to it, because it's just, and if you can find her doing it live, it's so deep. It's about just feeling alone and feeling like you have to leave the light on so you're not scared, and that you could live another day. And that's just paraphrasing, but it was like all those moments that I felt like nobody heard, or that I was alone, whether by choice, mm-hmm. Or by circumstance. Right. It's like, here's the thing, is like last year in the middle of the pandemic, and the middle of losing gigs and losing my side hustle, which was putting events together and some marketing, I had bare cupboards, right? So I went to a local food bank, and I said, I'm in trouble, and they gave me an emergency box. They didn't ask me how I got there. you know, and it's just that you're there and that you feel those feelings. And I think songs can get you. It's like whether or not you feel alone, and a song just makes the difference. Doesn't matter how you got there. It matters that you feel alone and that you're getting you know, the song is calling to you. And I like that you're hurting. It doesn't matter why.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing about the pandemic. You know, blues musicians is hanging on by a thread anyway. You know, they really got to make they bread in order to eat, and a lot of these blues musicians have been affected by the pandemic big time. And I appreciate the Horror Foundation and the Grammy Foundation for helping out a lot of artists, man. So yeah, it's been rough for a lot of these guys, man. It's been a hard time. This pandemic done hit home very hard, and I appreciate the hard and what you're doing, and
yeah, absolutely,
keep doing it. And I can't wait to hear your new music that's coming out, because I know it's going to be amazing, because I know it's going to come from the heart, and especially when you're talking about your ex. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
It's so funny. Okay. So my ex is amazing. He's also a musician. So he's amazing. I wrote a song about him. When we first got together, he was too like, are you okay? And he was like too like into me, right? Isn't that terrible? Okay, so I wrote a song about him called Too Much Sugar. It's like, too much sugar in my coffee, the way you treat me is too sweet. Someday I'm gonna lose the best of me. And it's like, you know, it's all about like, you know, I'm gonna be coming home soon. Just, you know, I don't need no extra sugar. Just give it to me black. I need good old loving. Just fill it to the top for me. It doesn't rhyme, but it's supposed to. But anyway, and I told him that I wrote it about him. And then for a while he would go, am I giving you too much sugar? I'm like, no, you're good. You're good. That's good sugar. Thanks. Thank you. Like, oh no, I told him. So yeah, this, you know, when I felt like a low down dirty girl, when I felt like a low down dirty girl, I'm going to tell him it's about a high school crush.
Well, you can't tell him now because you just said it.
Well, but the good thing is I am overdoing how bad I felt, so maybe he'll love me for it. Did you really feel bad?
I
did. He's the best person ever. I mean, for somebody else, but he's
All righty.
You guys are awesome. I'm so glad you're getting the word out to people during this pandemic.
Right, doing this.
Oh, definitely.
I got to go to Arizona.
Yeah, have you ever been here before?
I have, yeah. I used to live in Southern California, so I used to go to, what's that one spot where you can stand in 2 states at the same time or whatever? Or you go over a bridge? That might have been a nightmare, I don't know.
No,
there's Bullhead City, or is it Bullhead City that is like right to the border?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something. I think I've been there once where you can just stand and you're in one part and one part. Yeah.
You're in 2 different states.
Is there a head of a bull anywhere, or is that not?
I think that's somehow how it. Yeah, I don't know how that got in this name, but.
But yeah, in Arizona, hopefully.
Oh, you definitely be there. So, how do you think your summer gonna look?
The what?
How do you think your summer is gonna look?
My summer.
Do you think your summer's gonna pick up as far as musicians and being able to play more? And
I think there's gonna be a lot more private party kind of stuff going on. I'm booked for a few, like on somebody's farm and somebody's birthday on their acreage, and I think it's gonna change. You know, the interesting thing is, we were always trying not to have people videotape or record our whole set or something, because we didn't want people to watch at home and look at that and not go to one of our gigs. Oh, I could just, watch it online.
Mm-hmm.
But now that this has happened, it's kind of introduced it in a way that was our survival, right?
Right.
I don't have COVID, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm warming up. So it's kind of interesting what it's going to look like. So maybe just like a mix model of that, of like they were doing Can't Stop the Blues, and I started a site called, or a group on Facebook called Homebound Blues. So I was spending a lot of time sharing things that people are doing it from home. So I'm going to keep that. So it's called Homebound Blues, and so it's it's a lot of stuff from people's houses and sharing and stuff. So that will still go. So I think there's going to be a hybrid model. But I always think when you think of when computers started coming up and people that did printing kind of had to readjust themselves to start doing other stuff. It's like we haven't had, as musicians and music in general, we haven't had to adapt in such a rapidly way.
Right.
But I think there's going to be some positive. But also, on the other hand, is people are seeing live music that have not really paid attention. So so when we come back to try to get them to turn into people coming into the bars and to the venues to see us in person, that's going to be the part.
I think personally, like I say, musicians definitely going to have to adjust to the new normal, whatever that's going to be. And the thing is, we don't know what it's going to be right now. So I think the internet pretty much right now it was the devil at first, but it's doing a lot, especially as far as marketing and promoting. So definitely.
And people know that. And then I'm excited about people being able to do lessons to people all over the world. That's something that never really happened in a big way before, to give lessons to students all over the world.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. But a lot of people can't figure out how to capitalize on it just yet. But it's all coming. It's all coming. It's all coming, because, like I say, it's the new norm. We don't know what it's going to be.
Not norm, the new normal, the new extraordinary. That's what we got to.
The new extraordinary. New extraordinary. Exactly.
So that so the fact that so many people can go online and do lessons, I think that really is a sustaining way for musicians to add money. They can add so much money to their pockets by doing that and being set up for that. So to me, that's a good way for musicians to go. I'm not trained, so the only real lessons I could give at this point is how to bark like a dog, and which I'm willing to do, because I do have a wide range of varieties, so including the French Bulldog too.
But I don't know. You say you're not trained, but it goes back to what you said a little bit earlier. You said that you knew that someone had a degree in music and all of that stuff, and they were trying to figure out how to do a certain thing. But once again, you're a natural, so therefore you can do it, and she's trying to figure out what you are doing, and
it was okay to make a mistake.
Right.
Be okay to make a mistake, yeah.
So it's definitely a piece in there that like I say, it doesn't matter about your education style and what you can do. You got it, and you can profit off that. So
yeah.
Teaching is a big thing. It's there. You can teach the youngins on how to do something, or you can teach some older folks how to do some things. So it's a monetary value in that.
Well, they always say, like, speak to the audience where they are, where they are, and that also includes where they are. So with the younger kids, if they're in the front of the computer, how amazing to be able to get them interested in the blues so much earlier now. And I think there's going to be a resurgence of interest in the blues for the younger community, because we have, them not being able to go anywhere. They could watch it and stuff, and people can be taught all over the world by blues musicians. I think there's going to be it might be the saving grace of the genre, to keep on going.
I agree because it's just like if people hear like John Mayer, he can play some blues. I give it to him. But they listen to John Mayer and then they go back in history and they found out about Jimmy Reed. They found out about Stevie Ray Vaughan. They found out about, B.B. King and all that stuff. They go back in history. So you start off here, but then again, you take that journey back and you learn more about it and you get more into it and educate yourself. So the blues is one of those music, man, that it's never been super popular, but it's always stand the test of time.
Always stands through, and
it's gonna always be there.
I gotta tell people it's about our listeners. It's the I think Johnny Bergen actually said this in our first interview. It's not always about the quantity, but the quality of the fans. It's about the quality of the fans. I mean, we may not have like pop or some of these other genres, but we have the quality of fans, and I think that's important.
Right. And if they're not listening, I usually try to make them listen.
Yeah.
That's my strategy when I'm at a gig. I try to find the person that looks like they don't want to be there, and then I try to work on them until they either smile and have fun or leave.
How important is stage presence?
And
commanding the stage.
Well, I do have a lot of stage fright, and but I live for those moments where I'm in the moment.
Wait. You have what?
I have stage fright.
Get the hell out of here!
So
No.
I get so nervous to get on stage, right? So, but I know that there'll be those moments where I forget to be afraid, and that's what I live for. And there was the time that I experienced the first time I was at the IBC. I think it was 2014, maybe. I experienced a whole set or whatever of being in the moment the whole time. It was so exhilarating, where I didn't worry about, am I holding my stomach in? Am I pushing it out? Am I dressed right? Is that person having a good time? I was so out of my own head, and I was doing the shepherd thing, right? Before I even figured out that was.
Were you on stage thinking about all this stuff?
So I'm on stage, I'm singing, looking out upon the morning. Oh my God, why is my hair doing that? Rain. I used to feel so. Oh my God, is that my breath? So oh God, is that lipstick on my? Ooh, yay. So. I used to feel so. Is that my ex? Oh! So, I'm thinking about him. But it's the moment where everything disappears, and it's also the moment where and when you're having a good time and everybody's having fun. It's that magical thing when the audience and the band and me, we're all working it together. It's like we're grinding some kind of wheel and stuff that's making something go, and we're doing it together. So it's that, along with being in the moment, is just amazing. So I know that's going to happen more than not, and that's why I do.
Okay. It's
in the moment. Amazing.
Okay.
You're not thinking about when you get home you got to feed the dog, or all the chickens in the coop. And so it's just amazing, and especially when the band is so tight that you're just a well-oiled machine. That is amazing.
Yeah, when
you're taking somebody, you're wearing an oiled T-Bird, or not T-Bird, but Model T that you've cranked up, and the audience is sitting in it enjoying the ride. And oh my God, it's great.
Yeah, when you hit that zone, is nothing like it in the world. I'll say that.
And that goes back to Eddie Campy, that one day told me, after I complained that I didn't want to do the first Sunday gospel because I was tired we are blessed. How great that we get to do this and get to do what other people would love to do. Aren't we blessed?
Amazing, yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Yes, I agree 100% with that. That's, like I say, after that, what can you say? But last question.
Okay.
If it wasn't for the blues, what would you be doing right now?
Good
Definitely
question.
not your ex.
What?
Definitely
Right.
not your ex.
Writing the song with the X. You know what my trajectory was? I was going to be a police officer.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't see that.
Well, I just the idea of making a difference that way. So now, I think if it wasn't for music and not finding it like in the piano bars of LA when I was 19, I would, because I was a police explorer and I wanted to be a canine officer. So I ended up doing search and rescue anyway. So training dogs for search and rescue. But I would be a police officer. But now, you know, playing in bars and stuff like that, instead of arresting people, I help people get arrested. So, you know, there's that. So I'm pretty much in the same kind of business. So there you go.
Yeah.
There we go. So how can people find you? Tell us about your, give us your website, your Facebook, everything.
So please go and like facebook.com/Rae Gordon Band. I'm there as Rae Gordon, and I do some stuff on that. But to follow music stuff, please go to the Rae Gordon Band on Facebook, and then also RaeGordon.com. Also, I'll be doing another project called Rae Nova, which is my middle name, and that will be the spiritual gospel project. So keep an eye out for Rae Nova, which is my middle name, but and then RaeGordon.com for the blues. And please look around for some information in May for the new blues CD to come out with some special guests that you know.
All right, definitely. Like, subscribe. We're going to have all her social media information and website right here below. And thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate you so much.
Please like me. Please like me.
They're definitely going to like you. They definitely going to like you. I am Dave Yanni Riley.
I'm Ed Garvey.
This Blues Fanatic Show, and we are here with the wonderful, soulful Miss Rae Gordon. Thank you for coming on the show. And
Pleasure.
We will be doing this again.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all that you do.